All right, in this video, guys, I'm going to tell you how this guy right here, would get started in wholesaling if I was getting started in 2024. If you guys don't know who I am, I'm Jeremy Belian. I am an expert at acquiring off-market deals. Matter of fact, since 2017, I have gone on to do over 425 off-market acquisitions. Some of those wholesales, some of those wholesales, some of them flips, some of them buy and hold rentals, but I'm an expert at off-market acquisitions that led me to that number. And to this day, almost 8 figures in gross revenue. And I built multiple 7-figure markets in the process. I am here today, guys, to teach you how I would start wholesaling in 2024. So this video is not about how to get started in wholesaling in 2024 for no money, because that is not the way I would get started. If you want to get started with the fast track to success, it's going to require money. So all the stuff that I'm going to tell you today doesn't require a lot of money, but it requires some money. So if you have some money, some credit cards, or you need to sell something like I did when I sold my townhouse in 2016 to start my wholesaling business in 2017, because that was the only money that I had. And I had to move myself and my kids into a tiny little crappy little apartment so I could start my business with $11,000. That's right, $11,000. $5,000 for a coaching program, $6,000 was how I started my LLCs, got my paperwork done by attorneys, and then my initial marketing channel. That $11,000 made me go on and do 10 deals my first year. My first deal in 90 days, thanks to my coach. 10 deals my first year, doing over $70,000. That's like a 7-to-1 return that first year. And I built a foundation of something amazing and went on to do 4x the second year. Yeah, you got it, guys. 4x. What would I do now? Well, I would make sure I have some money and I would hire a coach first and foremost. A lot of people don't do this. I don't understand why. I've been doing this now for almost 8 years. And every successful person that I know in real estate investing or in wholesaling has had some kind of paid mentor or coach. Now, can you have success without a coach or mentor? Sure. You can also play the lottery and win it, right? Some people do. Many don't. It's the same thing here. Very few will ever make it in this industry. If you think you can just go out there and just start kicking ass and doing wholesale deals with no coaching, no guidance, I don't think it's going to happen. I mean, we all kind of know how to play football or baseball or tennis, right? We understand what you have to do, but you can't be great at it without a coach. I mean, I guess you could, but it'd probably take you a lot longer, right? So coaching is going to fast track your success much better than you trying to figure it out on your own, because there's so much stuff that you don't know that they do, and they can really shorten that time to success, right? They can get you to do your first deal in 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, where if you're trying to do it yourself, you may get in that time. But most people that I've talked to in my experience who say, I've been trying to do it on my own, I've been at it for 9 months or a year and I've done 1 deal, that's usually the reality of it. And a lot of the people who say, don't spend money on coaches. Now listen, I'm not saying all coaching is great. I get that. You have to vet the coach, make sure it's somebody you vibe with, right? Make sure it's something you can afford, and it's really, they have a program that will work for you. But many of the coaching programs are great and they work. Whether it's my coaching program, somebody else's, there's a lot of great coaching programs out there. And if I didn't spend $5,000 on my first coaching program, I probably wouldn't be here today, because it allowed me to close my first deal in 90 days. And it gave me the power of belief. And that power of belief is just incredible. It's like, holy smokes, this works. I just wholesaled a deal and I got paid. Like, I could do this. This is incredible. Many people will never get that feeling. They think, I could just go on YouTube and figure it out. Great. All the ingredients are there. But do you know how to put the recipe together? Do you know how to perfect the recipe? Do you know how to make the recipe taste as good as possible? Do you know how to get the recipe done as quickly and cost efficiently as possible? First and foremost, guys, I would hire a coach. Second thing I would do is I would definitely find a local real estate attorney in a local title company. Now, some states like New York and Connecticut, Rhode Island, they tend to be more of a attorney state. There may be some other states around the country that are. So find a good local real estate attorney that can handle your closings, that has a lot of experience working with wholesalers, because that's really important, because the deals that we do tend to be very difficult and challenging from a title perspective, and they typically have to go through a lot of hoops to get deals done for you, right? You need somebody that can get deals done quickly and efficiently, so you don't have to worry about that, because you really want to just focus on getting the next deal. You don't want to have to worry about all the challenges of getting a clear title and signatures and death certificates. You may help out with that stuff, but you really need an experienced title company or real estate closing attorney that is familiar working with wholesale deals, and ones that can do multiple deals for you every single month. Because once you get really good, right, you need somebody that can handle that and get them done. Last thing you need to do is think that you have a deal closed and the title company's like, oh, sorry, we forgot to do blah, blah, blah. It's going to be another few weeks. We didn't ask for a payoff for this or a lien for that. It's just none of that stuff, right? We need to make sure that we have a good closing agency to get our deals done. And then with a real estate attorney, guys, we are in real estate, right? So you need to have somebody who is on your side to protect you, all right? So what I would have a real estate attorney do is really what I was going to say next, is have them create your LLC for you, right? Do the LLC documents and formation. Make sure that you're a legitimate LLC company. It protects you from liability. So if anything ever happens, they can't go after your personal assets. They can only go after the LLC. And typically your LLC won't have shit, so it won't matter. And then because you're working with real estate, and this is a highly regulated industry, and there's real estate commissions, organizations, right, and everything else that work in this industry, you really need to make sure that you have a real estate attorney that has a purchase and sales contract and an assignment contract that is specific for your state. Not all states are created equal. What works in New Hampshire may not work in Florida. What works in Florida may not work in Texas. What works in Texas may not work in Iowa. They have different regulations, different state rules. You have to abide by them. If you don't, you can get seriously in big trouble and fined, and it's not worth it, okay? Don't take the chance. I mean, you're talking about the housing of people, right? This is a highly, highly regulated area. There's a reason why there's a lot of rules in place and laws in place to protect sellers. You need to make sure that your contracts not only protect the sellers, but protect you and protect your buyers. So don't try to, just get something offline here. Spend a couple $100. Make sure your contracts are done right and vetted by a local real estate attorney, because if anything ever happens, it's the attorney's fault, not yours, because you paid for an attorney to do it. And what I've seen sometimes is people will get a purchase and sales contract from another state and think it's valid in their state, and they get a property under contract and they find a buyer and they get going, only to find out that the buyer's agent or the buyer's attorney or whatever the case is said this isn't a valid purchase and sales contract. And then you go back to the seller and you're like, sorry, that contract doesn't work. We have to do a new one. And they're like, well, what happened, right? And then deals fall apart. Don't let that happen to you. If I was getting started in 2024, the marketing channel that I would recommend to do, which is what we tell our students, and what I would do is I would use direct mail. Now, direct mail is not glamorous. It is not amazing. It is, it costs money, right? But it's pretty consistent and it performs pretty well. So it's not the best marketing channel. You're not going to get, have great massive returns from it, but it's so simple. And when you're starting in this business, man, all that matters is keeping it super simple. You don't want to have big fancy websites and spend all this time on big fancy CRMs. None of that stuff matters, guys. All that matters is that you're talking to sellers, going on appointments, and locking up contracts, right? Because those are the three activities that drive revenue in this business. So you need to be focused and spending all your time doing those three things. If you're not, then you're just doing busy work and not generating any revenue, or at least putting yourself in a position to generate revenue. So I love mail. It's super simple. Now, what I would recommend and what I would do is I would have a minimum of 500 letters up to 1,000 letters to get started at. And as you get better at getting more deals, right? You get better at the sales cycle, talking to people and taking those leads and converting them into deals, which is, your conversion ratio. You get better at your conversion ratio and your percentage of deals, then you can start to scale that up to like 1,500 letters a week and 2,000 letters a week. But I wouldn't do it that much in the beginning because you won't be able to handle all the leads, right? So you want to keep it super simple and manageable because you're probably working a full-time job, right? And that's why mailing's so great. So you have the mailing automated, right? And it goes out every single week, 500 letters. Those phone calls come in, and you literally get on the phone as quickly as possible, go through an incoming call script to identify, do they have motivation? What's their timeline to sell? Is there equity at home? And then you're going on appointments, right? That's what you need to do. So you can weave that in and out, right? You could be at work and you can go take a bathroom break if a call comes in. You can call them at lunch, call them as soon as you get off your shift. Whatever the case is, you can handle that. But those leads come in like clockwork all the time. You don't have to spend hours and hours cold calling or text messaging. Mailing just comes in. And because you're new in this industry, you don't really have the sales skills yet to be good. Meaning, you're not really, listen, I know you're really good at sales. I hear that all the time. You're really good at the sales side. You're great at talking to people. You are a whiz when it comes to sales. But I'm telling you, you're not good at sales with this industry yet. So, as you're getting going, right, you're not that great at talking to people on the phone to identify motivation, timeline, equity, getting the information you need to do to go on an appointment. And then when you're on appointment, you're not really good at, building rapport, being a friend, identifying their problems, providing a solution to the problems, negotiating pricing as low as possible, right? That stuff comes from great coaching, which I told you early, right? And practice. Here's the technique, practice it, practice it, practice it, practice it. And just like anything else, the more you practice, the better you get, right? So mailing, when you're just starting out, you're not very good yet. You're a rookie. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to screw up some leads. You're going to screw up some phone calls. You're going to screw up some appointments, but that's okay. There's not a big cost to it. Whereas if you were to do like radio ads, Facebook ads, PPC, right? There's a big cost to those leads. Like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars. And if you're not really skilled yet, then you could be spending thousands of dollars on wasted leads that you're not good enough yet to convert to deals. So that comes when you really start to get really good in this industry. But mailing, just keep it super simple. Just keep it at 500 letters a week, maybe 1,000 letters a week. Those things come in, those responses come in, those leads come in. You talk to them. You get better at talking to people. You get better on going to appointments. You get better at closing deals. And as you start to close deals and start to take less leads to do more deals, then you can start to ramp up to 1,500 leads or 2,000 leads. If you have less than 500 mailings, you're probably not going to have enough leads to come in to, generate enough business to keep you going and close your first deal in the first 3 to 4 months. And if you have more, like if you're doing like 2,000 mailings, you're probably going to have too many leads where you won't be able to nurture and follow up with leads enough. You're going to basically you're going to be overwhelmed by leads. So 500 to 1,000, great starting point, highly recommend it. And just keep this in mind, right? I tell people this all the time. When you're new, right, and you don't have the sales skills quite yet, you're going to take probably about 60 leads. A lead being, hey, I got your letter in the mail. I may be interested in selling my house now or in the future. That's a lead, right? Because you're new, you're going to probably take 60 of those to close one deal. Now, if you get 20 coming in a month, right, it's going to take you 3 months to close a deal, right? And that may keep that going. But as you get better with your sales skills, hopefully with a great coach of learning how to talk to people better on the phone, how to overcome objections, how to get firm commitments, how to deal with ghosts, how to better negotiate, how to provide value better, right? All the nuances that come with the sales side of this industry. Then you could take those 60 leads, like Dan Toback in our coach on our coaching program. He could do 4 deals, 15 leads per deal. It's going to take you 60, but he can do it in 15. So we're spending the same amount of money, right? Let's say it's $100 a lead. It's costing us $6,000 for you to close that first deal. You may only make $10,000 because you're new. You don't know how to get $35,000, $40,000 spreads yet like we do, because we're masters at it. We've been working at this craft for many, many years and had a lot of great coaching ourselves and a lot of great training, right? So we could turn that into $35,000, $40,000. But I can still spend that $6,000 and I can get 4 deals, right? So even if I got $25,000, I can turn that $6,000 into $100,000, where you may turn that $6,000 into $10,000. That's why you want to just start off super simple and work on getting better at the sales side of things. But you have this mailing. Who do you mail to? Well, I would recommend getting local government lists. Now, I know there's other resources like PropStream and ListSource where you can pull lists, and they work. All list providers work. Some are better than others, obviously, just like anything else. But the local lists are great, guys. Tax delinquent lists, code violation lists, eviction lists. You can even get probate, right? These are local lists you get at the local sources, where it's the family court, circuit court, the tax office, the code enforcer's office. You get these lists, right? The water shut off, the water delinquency lists, right? It's hard to get these lists. A lot of people say these lists don't exist. I promise you they do, but a lot of people say they don't. And you're probably going to be told 6, 7 times before you get the yes. But what makes these lists so great is because they're so hard to get. Nobody wants to spend the effort to get these. They just want to pull a PropStream list because it's easy. Everybody just wants it easy. I just want to do the easiest thing and be rich doing everything easy. It doesn't work that way. So go get those government lists, eviction lists, tax delinquent lists. If you can get a notice of default or pre-foreclosure in your area, that kind of list, probate and code violation. Great lists to start. All right. And use those to send your mailings to. All right. Now, this was something that I made a big mistake at in the beginning. I didn't realize the urgency of this until it almost screwed up my first deal. Not once, but twice. But saved my butt on the third time because I finally got my butt in gear. Guys, you got to build a buyer's list. All right? This is super important. If you're virtual, it gets a lot harder. You can always, if you get a deal, the buyers will come. But with that being said, the more buyers you have, the more you're going to win in this industry. So think about that. I don't want you to just have a handful of buyers. I want you to have thousands. Yeah, I know. Crazy, right? Thousands of buyers. But before you get started in wholesaling, your job is to get to 150 to 180 cash buyers as soon as humanly possible. Like right away. You want to have 150, 180 cash buyers before you have your first deal under contract. Why? 80-20 rule applies here. 20% of these people are real cash buyers. The other 80% are cash buyers that will never do a deal. Cash buyers come and go. They're fake, wholesalers. They're fake cash buyers. They're analysis paralysis cash buyers. 20% of them will actually buy properties, right? But out of those 20%, some want flips. Some want rentals. Some only want single families. Some only want 2 families. Some want red houses. Some want yellow houses. Some want west side of town. Some want the east side of town. They all have their preferences. So if you get a house and you only have one buyer, you have no negotiation power. They're going to be like, I'll give you $1,000 for it. You're like, I want 5,000. Well, I'll give you 1,000. You get nobody. You have no power. Then you become a CBE, right? I talk about this in my other videos. Cash buyer employee. We don't want to do that. You're working really hard to get these deals. It's your job to have them fight and bid, each other over these contracts. We want a bidding war on our contracts. We want them, fighting it out, right? We want like an auction scenario, right? If there's an auction, all these people come out and they start placing bids and they go with the highest bidder. You should be doing the same thing with your contracts. Only way to do that is get more cash buyers. And again, cash buyers come and go. So you should be building a cash buyers of 150 to 180 cash buyers just to start. But you never, ever stop growing your cash buyers list. I still today, all these years later, still actively grow my cash buyers every single day, every single week. Because cash buyers come and go. And there's new cash buyers that come in. And I want to make sure that no matter what deal I have under contract, whether it's a 1 family, 2 family, east side, west side, pink house, purple house, polka dot house, whatever the case is, trailer that has, chimneys out of 4 different ends, I don't care. I know the more cash buyers I have, the more likely that house is going to sell, number 1, which means less cancellations. But the more cash buyers means I am going to make more money per deal. That's what it's about, right? I don't want to just do $5,000 deals. I want to do $50,000 deals. I want to freaking do $100,000 deals. That's the mindset you got to have. So cash buyers. So how do you find these cash buyers? All right, a couple techniques that I would do. This is how I got started. First, post on Craigslist. Hey, looking for cash buying investors that are looking for fixer-upper, handyman specials, looking for multifamilies, anything in the area. If you're interested, I find off-market deals, right? You can post that on Facebook as well. Go to your Facebook local real estate groups and then just put in cash buyer, right, or wholesaler, and start scraping through all of those names, because there's 1,000 of cash buyers with their emails and phone numbers already in there, and reach out to all of them. Then you can also reach out to some local realtors and say, hey, do you have cash buyers that are looking to buy properties in the area I find off-market deals? They say, yes, I have 3 house flippers that are always looking for deals. Let me know when you have a deal, because they're going to get paid for bringing their cash buyer to your deal. Their cash buyer will probably pay them and you. And then find one of those realtors and just say, hey, can I pay you, or can you do me a favor, either or, depending on the relationship? Can you pull a list of all the cash transactions, the cash closings in this area for the last 6 to 12 months? Pull that list off the MLS, skip trace it, and start calling and mailing every single one of those people. And what else you could do is you get some yard signs, like some yard bandit signs, like plain ones at like the Home Depot or Lowe's, and you can write on it, handyman special, must sell, phone number, or, firehouse, motivated seller, phone number. And you can place those all around the different towns around your area, major intersections, and people that are cash buyers are going to drive around and see that, and they're going to think, oh my God, a seller's selling the house. It could be you. So those are some great techniques. Craigslist, Facebook, MLS, realtors, local yard signs or bandit signs. And then the other thing is, guys, your local RIAs, your real estate investing associations, and your local meetups. Always, always, always cash buyers there. So you need to be going around constantly to these things and accruing all this information. 150, 180 cash buyers to start. Hopefully you will get well over 1,000 after year 1. Then after that, guys, it's really about just having clear expectations on what's to come, really what the timeline is and what it's going to take to be successful in this industry. What I tell my students, when they come into this coaching program, is that, it's typically going to take 3 to 4 months to get your first deal. Now, some people get it in the first 30 days, 60 days, right? We all sometimes get lucky, but typically it takes 3 to 4 months to get your first deal. It may even take you 6 months to get out of the red and into the black, meaning, having, a negative, like a loss, financial loss, a small financial loss, before you start to actually become profitable. This is all about taking 90 days to build momentum, because it takes time in this business to build momentum. What we do today, we yield the rewards, right, 90 days down the road. So the first 30 days, 60 days, right? The first 30 days, we're reaping those rewards 90 days later. 60 days, 90 days later, right? But as time goes on, there's like this accrual effect, momentum effect of all these leads that have been coming in month 1, month 2, month 3, month 4, month 5, and then it starts to really pick up later on, right? It's called Big Mo, right? It takes a lot more energy to get a spaceship off the ground, right? But once it's up in the air and into space, it takes a lot less energy, right? So think of like a locomotive. To get a locomotive going, those first couple inches, that first foot, that first 10 feet, so much power, so much energy, right? So much just time, just resources it takes to get going. But as it gets going, it gets easier and requires less, right? It's like that with momentum and wholesaling. So the way to look at this is typically how it works with wholesaling is you're going to have what we call low-hanging fruit. And those are the people that say, hey, I got your letter in the mail. I am super motivated to sell right now because of whatever reason. But for every one of those deals, and they happen, the other 8 to 9 out of those 10 deals, right? So out of 10, one of them's like that. The other 9 are people that you've been talking to for months. These are the people who say, I got your letter in the mail. Yeah, I'm interested in selling my home, but probably at a different time in my life. You don't know why, but it is, right? So it's going to take time. A lot of the deals that you do, you've been talking to for many, many months. This business is all about nurture, 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 nurture. So you have, 20, 30, 40 leads coming in month 1, 20, 30, 40 leads come in month 2, 20, 30, 40 leads come in month 3, right? And then you're working the ones that are warm and hot. The cold ones go on like a monthly follow-up, bi-monthly follow-ups. Some of those are just dead, right? And then you have your hot ones, so you're working your hot and warm, but you're talking to these people all the time because it averages 12 touches before a deal closes on average. That could be marketing, 6 mail pieces, 4 phone calls, 2 appointments, whatever that is, right? That's typically how it works in sales in general. This is no different. So, it's going to take you 3 or 4 months to get your first deal, most likely. It's probably going to take you 6 months to get a few deals and get out of the red and start showing some profit. But you're going to start really building momentum for that last 6 months. By the time you hit 12 months, you're probably going to be rocking and rolling to a point where you're probably looking at doing about a deal a month, maybe more. Maybe it's like 1 deal, 1.5 to 2 deals every single month after about a year. It literally takes a solid year of this kind of consistency, commitment, and effort to build the foundation of something special. If you can stay in it for a year, and again, most wholesalers will never make it this far. Probably about 90-95% of the people will never make it a year. It's really the 5%, the top 5% make it that year, and never mind make it 5 years, but make it that first year. But if you can have the self-discipline and you can work your butt off and understand the expectations, take a solid year of you busting your ass and being fully committed, then you can build the foundation of something great, and your life will forever be changed. I promise you, your life will forever be changed. And like me, in year 2, I 4X. That's not uncommon. A lot of people go into year 2 because they built that momentum and that foundation in year 1 to 2X, 3X, 4X, 5X in year 2. Never mind year 3 and year 4, right? So that's what happens is the power of momentum. You got to understand this isn't get rich quick overnight. I mean, like, I guess if you get rich in 2, 3, 4 years, that's pretty quick. But, if you think you're just going to, strike scratch a lottery ticket or a scratch ticket and just have an abundance of money, it doesn't work like that. It takes time. It takes about a solid year. And then with that, you guys got to know that there's a lot of self-discipline that's involved, right? You need to make sure that all day, every day, you're looking at getting better on personal development, getting better at talking to people. Your goal is when you get up every day, who do I need to talk to today that can maybe sell their house to me, right? You want to be talking to sellers, going to appointments with sellers, locking properties up. Those are the things that drive in revenue in this business and building your cash buyers list. Those are the things you need to be working on every day. And that means maybe not hanging out with friends, right? May not go out to dinner, may have to give up some hobbies for a little while. It may mean missing the big games or the games on, after work. It means probably going to work after work or going to work on the weekends, doing things when you're tired. Waking up early to learn to read, not learn to read, but read about learning how to get better in this industry, right? You should always be a student, always be learning, always be marketing, always be taking action. You need to have self-discipline to understand that you need to be fully committed to doing whatever it takes on all your personal time to invest in this business. You are going to be basically burning the candle at both ends for 1 year. I burnt the candle at both ends for 3 years before I quit my job and went in this full time and started working on my business. I have no regrets. I mean, guys, I've done almost 8 figures in gross revenue. Think about that. That's $10 million. And it started with me spending $5,000 on a coach. So I hope this helps you guys today. That's what I would do if I was starting out in 2024 as a wholesaler. Hey guys, I hope you found this video valuable today. Listen, if you're struggling to learn how to get better at off-market acquisitions, if you want to do more deals, bigger deals, and less cancellations, well, I suggest you click on the link below. That link is a resource to help you get better. But I'm going to be honest, guys, transparency, right? That is offered to sell you something. So it may not be for you, but it may be for you. If you want to learn more, click on the link. But it is a sales funnel to try to help to, sales funnel to sell you something. With that being said, guys, if you found this video, informative, please like it so you can be notified from wonderful YouTube's algorithm to be notified of other videos. But it just helps me out as well. And obviously, if you found this valuable, please subscribe to my channel. I need your support. I am pouring all this value into you. All I could ask in return is to like my videos and subscribe to my channel so you can be notified of all future videos where I'm going to continue to pour value into this industry for you, but also can notify other people who need this help to start their business for REI freedom and create a life through wholesaling that can be amazing for them. It's all about off-market acquisition, guys. I just want to provide as much value as I can out there. And guys, if you have any questions, feel free to just leave some comments, some questions in here. I'll get back to you. Maybe I'll even do a video on it. Take care, guys.